And we back like we never left. It is Live Zone Sports. I am your host, Live Zone. I got my co-host Mozzie here with us. Mozzie, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Happy as ever. How you doing?
I'm doing good, other than the technical difficulties that we've been experiencing here and there. But we deal with it, and we're gonna keep on rocking for our supporters, and we're gonna give you another Live Zone Sports podcast here right now. So the first thing that we got a very packed episode. It's going to be just an NFL episode here for you because of everything that has happened this week. We have hot streak teams. Who are your teams that you're watching? I'm gonna start mine. Um, we obviously could have put the San Francisco 49ers in here. I think the San Francisco 49ers are a packed team. We all know that. We don't need to put them in here right now. But, definitely looking at them as the number one team in the NFL going forward after this week happened against the Dallas Cowboys. But, my next team that I have right behind the 49ers, and don't sleep on them, is the Detroit Lions. Yes, sir. We haven't heard it here since, the Barry Sanders days, but we have it here right now. Jared Goff is a leader. They have won, let's see, one, two, three, four. Four, yep, they're 4-1. Won the last game without their main wide receiver, St. Brown. I mean, how are you feeling about this team, Mozzie?
Yeah, the Lions, the Lions, the Lions. Super Bowl bound in my eyes. They got to go through the 49ers, which will be a hell of a game, but I think Detroit fans should be very excited about what's going on in Detroit. The energy is amazing. I don't know if you've seen the arena rocking when they're playing at home. The fans are into it. Eminem is going to the games. You know it's going down in Detroit. Dan Campbell doing an outstanding job recruiting, putting teams together, and really making them believe that they can win and win now, and that whatever happens, it goes through Detroit. I'm excited to see him here on defense rocking. Goff is playing exactly how he needs to. David Montgomery has 6 touchdowns already this year. The most he's had in a season is 8. We're only 5 games into the year. I mean, this team is rocking right now.
All right. I agree with you 110%. Jared Goff is showing the veteran leadership that we needed him to show to be one of, the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he's cracked top 5 yet, but I do think by the end of the year, we will be saying that Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback. Honestly, these
That's a
guys,
hot take.
hey, listen, I
That's a hot take.
Jared Goff is showing something that Lamar Jackson isn't, and he's showing that he's winning games. That's all I'm going to say. We'll get into that in the next few segments. But what I will say is this team is looking really good all around. Defense is looking amazing, and that's without their best cornerback. Then after that, we got the running back situation. It's looking amazing. You got Montgomery, and then you got Jamar Gibbs learning from Montgomery. You got the wide receivers. Josh Reynolds is stepping up. You have Laporta at the tight end position. That is a rookie that's going to be phenomenal. I think by the end of the year, we're going to consider him a top 5 tight end in the league. Like, this team is legit, and Jared Goff is showing exactly why the LA Rams should have kept him. Yes, LA, they did get a championship out of it. I actually wanted them to win because I am a big fan of Aaron Donald. But what I will say is, future wise, it made sense to keep Jared Goff, especially if he keeps on playing like this. And I'm going to make a really hot take. If you thought that was a hot take with Jared Goff, here's my hot take for the NFL season. Right now, they are my favorite to make the Super Bowl. And here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. San Francisco 49ers, they are known for injury-prone players. Yes, do I think that the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in the NFL right now? 110%. But if an injury happens to a Christian McCaffrey that's getting overplayed and getting all the touches in the world, or if Brock Purdy goes down, or if Ayuk or Debo Samuel go down like they already have this season, I think that the Detroit Lions will capitalize on that, and I think the Detroit Lions will be in the Super Bowl if you see an injury happen with the San Francisco 49ers.
That might be a hot take to most people that are listening, but to me, that's not really a hot take. I definitely agree with you. I feel something's in the air for Detroit this year. Um, I like what you said about San Fran, but I don't think it necessarily is only one player. I think multiple players on both sides of the ball need to go down in order for them to go down a level in my eyes. Brock Purdy goes down. I feel like it's a system of anybody can play quarterback at that place and end up with over a 500 record on the season. But the main thing is right now, San Francisco is the stronger team in my eyes. But I think Detroit has more momentum, more people behind them, and they will make it to the Super Bowl.
I like the thoughts. I do think if Christian McCaffrey does go down, though, I think that's going to be a huge problem for San Francisco 49ers, especially with him scoring a touchdown or two touchdowns every single game since he's been a 49er. I think that just creates chaos, and it's going to make Brock Purdy, we see Brock Purdy, he does not turn the ball over. The man is a genius at the quarterback position. We could
Mm-hmm.
talk about, yes, he has so many weapons, and yes, he makes a lot of great passes, but at the end of the day, he makes those players 10 times better. I really do think Brock Purdy makes all of the wide receivers on the San Francisco 49ers better. I think the only pieces that he doesn't make better and makes Brock Purdy better is Kittle and McCaffrey. I really do. But with that being said, I'm going to head into my second team. I'm going to look at the Miami Dolphins. All right. Starts off the year with the win. Then after that goes to the division rival, get a win. Then after that, 70-20 blowout against the Denver Broncos. Then after that, they get a loss in Buffalo. I mean, I saw it coming. Buffalo Bills are really my favorite in the AFC this year. And then after that, you have the Miami Dolphins going against the Giants. They win by a large margin because the New York Giants are nothing this year. For me, this team has the three fastest players in the NFL right now. They have Jalen Waddle, which is a good complementary player to Tyreek Hill. They have Tyreek Hill that, top five receiver in the league. If not five, he's number two or one. So you have that. And then you have A-Chain, which he is proving to be a really good pickup in the offseason for the Miami Dolphins, and he is wicked fast. You really do have the three fastest players in the NFL on one side of the ball. I think this team is very dangerous in the AFC. Do I think they're the best team in the AFC? No, but watch out for this team because they're going to be dangerous in the next few years.
Understandable, understandable.
And then my last team, hear me out. I know that they're not the best team to pick right now, but the team that I'm watching out for is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's the reason why. They are now first in the North, okay? They beat their division rival in a one possession game. They then after that beat the Raiders 23-18 and beat the Browns 26-22. They get blown out by the San Francisco 49ers, but what team wouldn't right now? And then after that, the Texans, they have a bad game, slip that one out. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are a very young team, and with the defense that they have behind them, I'm pretty sure I called this last week, especially with Mr. Baltimore Ravens offense there, Mr. Lamar Jackson, can't throw under pressure. That is a problem for the Baltimore Ravens, and TJ Watt exposed that 110% and got the game-winning fumble, if I'm correct. So Therefore, what am I looking for? I'm not necessarily looking for the offense to be dominant. I'm looking for the offense to gain momentum and the defense to be dominant because this is a defensive oriented team. Do I like what they're putting up right now? I do. I like the wins that they're putting up. They're in close games, but they're winning, but they're young, they're experienced. They're showing us what the Patriots should be right now, and Kenny Pickett is just getting better every week.
All right, well, it's an interesting list you have there. I like a couple of them. So going into mine, I am putting the San Francisco 49ers at number one. I don't care. They deserve to be on the list, and we deserve to talk about them.
Respect.
They're doing things that are just out of this world. Sunday night versus the Cowboys. By the third quarter, their second strings were in the game, and it wasn't even close. They made Dak look silly out there. Looked like he was playing high school ball. It's just crazy. 30 points every single game that I've seen, and there's just so many weapons. George Kittle, 3 touchdowns, 3 catches. Like, didn't even get down the field with him. You just throw it to him in the end zone type deal. You got Ayuk. Samuel's not even putting up any numbers, and they're killing people. It's outrageous, and it's baffling, and it's something to watch. And Brock Purdy fits the system perfectly. He's playing perfectly. He's got no turnovers, just all touchdowns, all cash. His completion percentage is great. I mean, he's just fundamentally sound. Um, Nothing bad to say.
Yeah,
So
I agree 110% with you. I'm gonna be the I don't wanna I didn't want the list to be more of an obvious list. I wanted it to be teams to watch out for in the next few weeks, which you and me took different perspectives from, which I respect it. I will say I do agree with you with Brock Purdy. I really do think that this is the first quarterback that we have seen since Steve Young and Joe Montana that makes sense for this 49ers team. He's putting up the yards, he's putting up the completions, he's putting up everything, not getting interceptions. I don't remember the last time Brock Purdy has an interception or a lost game. That's scary. All right. So
yeah,
I do give my props to San Francisco 49ers. I just wanted it because if I feel like ESPN and all of them, shout out to ESPN, I feel like they're putting them on this list already. So I wanted it to be all right, well, what if this happens next list?
understood. And yeah, Brock Purdy 10-0 in his regular season games in his career.
That's
I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Um, Going on to my second team, though, I have the Detroit Lions as well. This team is going to the Super Bowl. Yell it from the heavens. Dan Campbell doing an amazing job. They're full of complete players. Hutchinson's a dog. Sutton's a dog. Barnes is a dog. Joseph is a dog. All on defense. You got Jared Goff playing exactly how he needs to. David
one.
Montgomery having a career year already. Jones Jr. and St. Brown, even though St. Brown was out last game, just turned out to be a solid combo of wide receiver 1 and 2. Great hands, great yards after the catch. Not a single bad thing to say about this team, really. They have the energy, the motivation, they're hungry. They believe everything goes through Detroit, like I said earlier. I think it might be the first ever Super Bowl that might be going Detroit's way. I could really see them through the rest of the season, ended up 13-4 for the year. I checked out their schedule. I don't see a lot of people that they lose to. They got the 49ers on there, so that's going to be an interesting game.
I agree 110%. Detroit Lions were number 1 on my list. I really do see them being in the Super Bowl if anything happens to Christian McCaffrey.
All right, and then going into the last one that I have. So my first 2 teams were NFC teams. So we're going to hop over to the AFC, show some love to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Live Zone, I know you're big on the Jacksonville Jaguars. You were telling me from the jump of the season. I wasn't a believer. After what I saw they do to the Buffalo Bills out in London, Shout out Connor Dow, who was at the stadium watching the game. That's a boy from back home. But the Jacksonville Jaguars are for real. Holding the Bills to 20 points, 25-20, right, was the final?
Yes. Yep.
So, I mean, great defense to hold Diggs down. I know he got his catches, but you're never going to hold a dog down like Jamar Chase, too. But, Trevor Lawrence not making too many mistakes. He's leading a good offense. He's coming through when he needs to for that team. I can see them being a problem. If they make it out of their division, I can see them being a very big problem.
I mean, I guess I'm filled with the hot takes today because I think you saw the AFC Championship game in London last week. But I think it goes the other way. I think the Buffalo Bills go to the Super Bowl, and we see a Buffalo Bills Detroit Lions Super Bowl.
That would be a great Super Bowl, to be honest. I would love that Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to go that way. I think somebody else will come out of the AFC, but I can't call it yet.
Hey, I respect it. But yeah, so, I mean, that's been our takes on it, on the NFL season so far and what we've been watching. Let us know what you think. Who are your favorite AFC teams? Who are your favorite NFC teams? Let us know. Stay tuned for the next segment because we're going to talk about some hot seats. So stay tuned for that. Live Zone Sports, welcome back, everybody. We told you that this was going to be an NFL podcast. We told you that we were going to be back with some hot takes. Right now, we have been talking about the hot teams in the NFL, who we have been watching, but we're going to transition over into some negative conversation depending on who the fan watching is. Mozzie, let me know the coaches that you picked that are on the hot seat right now.
Awesome. So we have some big names on this 3-person hot seat coaches edition. We're going to start off with Bill Belichick. Yes, I said Bill Belichick, New England Patriots head coach. I think the time is done. There's 2 options, okay? There's, first of all, Robert Kraft could make him not GM and be able to take care of all the players and start having someone come in and take care of all the players and picking and draft picks and future of that nature, and Bill Belichick solely focuses on head coaching. Or it might be time to shake hands, say it was an amazing partnership and we had a hell of a run, and walk away and ride off into the sunset. It's not looking good right now in New England. There's nothing going good. Going to Gillette Stadium used to mean a tough game. Now it looks like a W on the schedule every time. There's no fear. I don't feel as though, being a New England Patriots fan, diehard, and you yourself, Live Zone, I just don't feel it in the air. I don't feel the energy. Nobody's got the faith going right now in Boston, and as we know, when the faith is strong in Boston, nobody's stopping it. That being said, it's not all Bill Belichick, but a lot of it is Bill Belichick's decision making for the future and what we have now in front of us. That's why I believe he is definitely on the hot seat, whether he knows it or not. I believe that he and Robert Kraft both know what's going on and either have something unreal planned or are just shaking their heads. Moving on to number 2. For the coaches, I have Denver Broncos head coach Sean Payton. Now,
That's a tough one.
Yes, and here's why. I was so excited to see what Russell Wilson and Sean Payton were going to do, and I have been severely let down. Russell Wilson is making all his mistakes and doing everything that he's doing. We'll talk about that separate later. But Sean Payton is not getting that team ready for Sunday to show up and play a football game until it's after halftime. Then they make a run, and then they make it a game, and then in the end, they end up losing because they aren't good on any side of the ball. The defense is terrible. The offense is bad. The special teams is mid of the pack, okay? Sean Payton needs to do a better job of head coaching this team, getting this team ready, getting them involved, getting them on the same page, and putting them together. I know it's his first year with the Broncos, so there's obviously growing pains, but you're getting a arguably Hall of Fame head coach coming from
Arguably.
New Orleans. Arguably, could go either way in my book.
He has a Super Bowl win.
That's all well and good in my book. That
Hey.
Super Bowl, I credit that a lot to the community of New Orleans and the people of New Orleans coming together more than I do the head coaching. Anyways, I am not impressed is the bottom line, and it's definitely a question right now. If they continue to lose, I'm looking at their schedule. I don't see them getting past 5 wins. So that's not a good look for a brand new head coach that's supposed to be built on winning. Moving on to number 3 in my list, and I have the Chicago Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, and he's on the hot seat for me because it's his second year head coach in Chicago, and I just don't have time to mess around. 4-18 in all his games as a Chicago head coach. That's pathetic. With the talent that you have at quarterback that can be winning you games, you do have wide receivers. You're very, very thin on the running back, though. I will give you that. Your defense is middle of the road. I just think it's a 500 team that's playing to a 4-win team right now, and that's not good on the head coach. I don't think the quarterback's happy in the system, but on the other hand, I do think Chicago is always more supportive of the head coach, so I think they'll give him plenty of time. I don't think he needs to worry about going anywhere. I just think based on his performance, he should be on the hot seat.
All right, interesting picks. We have 2 of the same picks actually, but different order. So I'm gonna base mine off of order of how bad they're doing right now. My number 1 is Matt Eberflus. I have him at number 1. 4-18. I mean, come on, you just got your franchise quarterback, you got the receivers, you got the tight ends, you got the running backs. Unfortunately, the running back got hurt. And you can't get the job done? I mean, come on. We talked about it literally a few weeks ago. 28 unanswered points by the defense. I mean, like, how are you supposed to win games if you're only basing it off of one side of the ball? That is a problem in Chicago. And you're going to tell me that that just lies on the people that they are signing? No, that lies on the head coach too, because he only has a mind for the offensive side of the game, not the defensive. That's why this team is 4-18. If you ever heard the saying defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen, it shows right here. You have 4 wins in the last 2 years. I mean, it's ridiculous, especially with, Justin Fields. I mean, I think Justin Fields could be a top 5 quarterback in the league if he was on the right team with the right pieces around him and the right coaching staff. Am I saying that's the New England Patriots, though? No, I'm not, because Bill Belichick does not do good with rookie quarterbacks, which brings me in to number 2. Bill Belichick, do I think he's on the hot seat? To an extent. I like how you said with the GM part, where making the moves and finding the pieces for the defense and offense. Listen, at the end of the day, a team has to fit well. When you have 2 different tight ends that are different strengths, that works out. I don't blame Belichick for the offensive weapons that Mac Jones has. But your leader needs to step up. And you don't have that. And you give this kid constantly excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. Even the fans are tired of it, bro. Even the fans are tired of you giving this kid excuses when he shouldn't even be on a football field right now. All right, that's a problem. So do I think that he's on the hot seat as a head coach? No, he is still the offensive and defensive minded coach that we all remember when Tom Brady was here and we were winning championships. Do I think that we need somebody else to start making moves instead of Bill Belichick? 110%. We look at the draft board. We took N'Keal Harry over DK Metcalf. Okay? That's bad. All right? We took so many players over, players that are stars right now. Like, we can go far as back as Tom Brady. I mean, we really can. The guy cannot draft, and he got lucky with Edelman, Gronk, and Tom Brady. And I guarantee you, at the end of the day, those choices were not even made by Bill Belichick. That's the problem. All right. We need somebody else to start making these moves for the team, getting him the pieces to win so we can get back to the promised land where the New England Patriots belong. Number two, with Bill Belichick, I think Bill is too worried about the defense that he forgets about the offense. We know Bill Belichick loves to talk about the defense, loves to be the defensive minded coach that he is, worries about the defense getting stops. That's all good. That's great. The defense is not the problem. But what happens when the offense doesn't capitalize on those stops? What happens when the offense can't get the ball over 50 yards? What happens when the quarterback gets sacked 20 different times in the game? These are things that we have to start looking at as New England Patriots fans. Yes, Bill Belichick is great, but this proves my point that Bill Belichick was great because he had a better quarterback right next to him. He had the greatest of all time to do it right next to him. And you could have put any quarterback with Bill Belichick. Would he win a championship? Maybe. Yeah, I would say he would still have at least one on him. But Tom Brady is a different mind. Tom Brady is a different game. And once you had him working on the offense, telling the offense what to do, yelling at the offensive line to block for him, we don't see that with Mac Jones. So therefore, it relays to the head coach to do that right now. And that's Bill Belichick, which he's not doing. My next pick, this is going to surprise a lot of people. I have Kevin O'Connell, Minnesota Vikings head coach. Listen. Oh, I forgot to talk about Bill Belichick. Before I get to Kevin O'Connell, I do want to say that Bill Belichick is 26-30 without Tom Brady. Keep that in mind. All right. We're going to go over to Kevin O'Connell, though. Okay. 14-8 in the last two seasons. I like that. Do I like what I'm seeing in the Minnesota Vikings locker room right now? Do I like what I'm seeing that's translating to the field right now? No, I don't. You have your quarterback, which is Kirk Cousins. I understand he's not the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and I don't think he will get to top 5 in the NFL in his career. But the dude is good. He's no scrub, all right? I think he should not be on the trading block right now, especially when he takes full responsibility for every single loss that they take, right? He's one of those guys in the locker room, a good guy to have in the locker room, a good asset, good veteran leadership. I like that. Do I think he should be on the trading block? I don't think so. Because half of those wins that you have with Kevin O'Connell came from Kirk Cousins in prime time. I hate to say it. Kirk Cousins, we talk about how he does not show up to big games. But here's the thing. He has. We've seen him do it. So why are we still putting him in the conversation of, oh, we're looking to trade you? All right, I don't understand that. Number two, Dalvin Cook, your running back that wanted a lot of money. You could have worked with him on a franchise tag to get him back in the Minnesota Vikings locker room. Another veteran for your team that helped you win a lot of games. You didn't end up doing that. Now you have Madison. That's iffy at best. Or Cam Akers, that I don't even want to get into that because I think he's one of the most overrated running backs in the NFL. Then after that, you have Justin Jefferson. Jefferson doesn't need no introduction. He is the best wide receiver in the league right now. Hands down. The dude is literally like Randy Moss. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Do I think he will have a ring eventually if he goes to the right team? 110%. Here's the thing. He is unhappy because you're not running the plays that you ran last year that made sure he had the ball in his hands in clutch time to win these type of games. That's a problem. When you have the best wide receiver in the damn league, you go to him when you need to score. Doesn't matter who he's against. It lies on him because he's the one that's going to get the job done. I don't like that. The offensive line is good. I don't think the offensive line is trash. I think it's one of the better offensive lines in the NFL right now. But the defense is absolute garbage. The defense is probably the defensive version of the offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals. You touch those defenders and it's like a trained space for those running backs to run through. All right, you touch the defender on the cornerback side and they have a yard or two to catch the ball over these guys that should be playing 110%. You know what I mean? It just looks like the defense is subpar, and it looks like the defense is just getting worse and worse and worse every year. We usually talk about the offensive line with the Minnesota Vikings, but honestly, the Minnesota Vikings offensive line is holding up for Kirk Cousins in the last 2 years. Your problem is just the defense, which is reflecting your record in the NFL right now. So, do I think he's on the hot seat? 110%. Your main player isn't happy. You put your quarterback on the trade block for no reason. The offensive line is getting better, but the defense is one of the worst in the league. You have to look at that and be like, all right, well, maybe it's not the players.
Do you think any team from your list can right the ship and make the playoffs this year, or do you think the year's a wash for all of them?
I think it's a wash. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings with that defense can make the playoffs. If they do, it will be a wild card at best. The Patriots, don't even get me started on that. I see us only winning 2 games this year. And then with the Chicago Bears, I mean, I really see. I see them. They can turn it around to a point, but it's not going to be able to make the playoffs.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right. So with that being said, we are going to head over to the Live 5 list. We talked about the coaches that are on the hot seat. Now we're going to touch up on the worst teams in the league and give you why we think that they are the worst in the NFL.
The bottom of the barrel.
Yep. Stay tuned for that.
Welcome back to Live Zone Sports. Mozzie here with the living legend, the one and only Live Zone over here. Okay, we're back with bottom of the barrel. All right, the worst teams in the NFL, 1 through 5. Let me hear it.
All right. So for me, I personally have the Minnesota Vikings at number 5. We already talked about the coaching problems that they have. We already talked about, the problems that they're having in the locker room. It's no secret here Minnesota Vikings only getting one win this season so far. Defense looking awful. I mean, I had to put them here, and I'm a Justin Jefferson fan, so that kind of hurts. Number 4, I have the Carolina Panthers. Here's the reason why. I don't have them at number 1 because they have a rookie quarterback. I mean, they're working with him. He's scoring a lot of points. The defense is just not really there. The offensive weapons are not really there. I mean, you have Adam Thielen. Other than that, I mean, you don't really have options. For me, I think that this team is going to be better in the future, and I don't think that their record shows what they're going to be at the end of the season. I think that Bryce Young is a talent that everybody has to watch out for and look at. So for me, I have them at number 4. Number 3, I have the Denver Broncos. Once again, not a surprise here. Russell Wilson doing everything he can, but can't get the job done alone. Don't really have a running back system there. The wide receiver that they have, the main one anyways, is always hurt 24/7 in Jerry Jeudy. Not a lot of tight end action there. Offensive line is great, and they're protecting him for the most part. But then after that, the defensive line and the defense giving up way too many points. I just see this as a whole problem for both Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. I don't think these two people are um, a part of the reason why that they are losing. I feel like it's just that the team isn't that darn good, and they're working with what they got. For me, number 2, New York Giants. I had them pretty high up this year, if you know me. I
I
thought
love
that
to hear that the Giants are at the bottom of the barrel.
I really did think that Daniel Jones could get the job done a little bit more than what he did. I really thought they were going to be a playoff team, especially adding Darren Waller. But we realized that Darren Waller isn't the same player he was 3 years ago. Unfortunately, the losing Saquon Barkley, another bad hit for the New York Giants. I don't see their season being recovered whatsoever. I think that they're going to stay at the bottom of the barrel, especially if Saquon ends up getting hurt again when he comes back later in the season. My number 1 team, no surprise
Don't do
here.
it. Don't
I
do it.
think I think everybody's number 1 team in the NFL right now that is losing games is the New England Patriots. I'm surprised that this team is even 1-4. I'm surprised we're not 0-5 like the Carolina Panthers. Do I see this team winning many more games? Absolutely not. I really do think that the Jets are looking 10 times better than what they faced against us. I really do think the next time that we see them, the Jets will whoop us. I think that every team that we go against, I mean, the best chance we have to win another game is the Indianapolis Colts. And the only reason why is because they don't have that rookie stud that they had a few weeks ago. I really do think that this team is in trouble, and I really see this team only getting 2 wins this season, which is a big problem, especially for my guy, Bill Belichick.
I love the list. I really do. I love the list. Um, I went in a couple different directions for sorts and whatnot, and maybe a little different order. But I'm going to start off here with my number 5 worst team in the NFL, and that's going to be the Carolina Panthers at 0-5. The reason I'm putting them so high is because one, I think Bryce Young is going to turn out to be a very decent quarterback. I think that the beginning of their season, they started out against the Falcons, who were coming in with Desmond Ridder, and they were hot. They were ready to play. The only loss on their schedule that really I didn't see why they lost was to the Minnesota Vikings, who will also be on this list. Um, I think the coach and the new quarterback just need to jive together a little more and get things going on the right page. I think the rest of their season schedule is more favorable. So that's why I think they can right the ship and get back to a 500 team possibly this year. Moving forward, I have my number 4 team, and that is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. Nothing is going right this year for them. They're 0-4 in one-score games, losing all of them compared to last year where they were 7-0. The tables have turned. The football gods are not on their side. Their running back game is no longer the running back used to be able to run or run out the back and make the catch. Good old Dalvin Cook, that is gone. There's no threat there. They have Justin Jefferson, who is the best wide receiver in the league. I totally agree with you on that. But they have Kirk Cousins slinging it behind the back. He's not getting any younger, and he's always been a 500 quarterback in my eyes. It's just not. It's not a winning recipe. It's a playoff possibility, but it's not a deep run. And at the end of the day, we're chasing Super Bowls. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
So moving on, we're gonna go with number 3, and I have the Denver Broncos. This team is horrid, terrible. Okay, the only thing that's good is the offensive line, but I need to stress that Russell Wilson used to look like a quarterback that knew how to win games, and now he looks like a quarterback who knows how to lose them. Okay? It is bad. He can't run away from anybody. There's no more scoops out to the side, throwing it deep downfield. There's none of that going on. Inaccuracy, throwing into coverage where it's like, where are you throwing into? Not managing the game right. Where is the old Russell Wilson? I don't think that the offense has necessarily bad players. I think the team is just not jiving. The head coach and the quarterback are not jiving. Everybody is on a different page. Everybody on the team is in a different mindset, and it's just not clicking. So we're going to move to the second worst team in the NFL, and we have the Chicago Bears. Okay?
Here's where we disagree.
What?
Here's where we disagree.
I think the Chicago Bears are terrible. I think it really showed in the way that they celebrated their first win in almost a full calendar year. They acted like they won the Super Bowl. That is really bad for a outside perspective for me. Just that fact that they never thought that they would win and that emotion came out is kind of crazy to me. Justin Fields, great quarterback, love him. I think it was DJ Moore lit it up in the game. Okay. Outside of that, what's going on? What's going on? Nothing. No defense. Barely any production out of anybody else. I'm just not seeing it. Chicago is just call it a wrap. Get another high draft pick. Trade Justin Fields. Get some more draft picks. Get some players. Get some defensive players. Maybe even switch up your coach. You know. And that leads me to number 1 worst team in the NFL. I think you know who I'm going to say. The New England Patriots. Oh, my God. It's bad. At this point, I don't even know what to say about Mac Jones. I've said everything that I could possibly say without saying every swear in the book. This guy is just flat out can't play. He cannot play. When's the last time you knew that in Gillette Stadium, back-to-back home games, New England only scored 3 points? The Muskets didn't even get shot. Are you kidding me? I can't even remember.
That's pretty bad.
I don't remember the last time it happened. The offense is terrible. The defense is subpar. No part of this team is strong. From the head coach to the offense to the defense to the special teams. I guess the kicker's doing decent this year. That's about all I could really say. He's getting the most chances out of everybody. It's pathetic to watch them play. It's a W on the schedule whenever we're going to New England, that's a W right now. And it looks like it's going to be a W for a long time if they don't get some personnel changes in that organization.
All right. I like the picks. I will say that I don't like the Chicago Bears one. I think out of all the worst teams in the NFL right now, they're probably the ones that I could see turning it around as long as Justin Fields keeps on being Justin Fields. When he's slinging the ball and when he's getting the freedom to throw the ball, good things happen, especially with Cole Kmet, DJ Moore. You have Darnell Mooney. You have these players that are good for this team, and they have options. They just need to start utilizing the playbook a little bit more on the passing side and not so much on the running side. I do think if I was to pick another bad team in the NFL right now, I really do think I would pick the Tennessee Titans. I really do. Reason being is because if you look at the rest of the teams that we have not picked, it's the Chicago Bears, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Washington Commanders. Then it's the Tennessee Titans. I really don't think that these teams are worse than the Tennessee Titans right now. I think Tennessee is really not playing that good this season. But going back to the number one pick for both of us, the New England Patriots, let me tell you, Mac Jones really needs to get his shit together. And I don't swear on the podcast much because I don't like to. But let me tell you, this dude, like I said last week, is a bona fide scrub. He is literally like in a few years you're gonna see him cooking at McDonald's or something like this. This guy is really bad. He's really bad for the organization. You can see it when Zappy and Malik come in. The fans are happy. Bill Belichick is like losing his mind because he doesn't know which way to turn because every way that he turns is a bad turn. The team needs to get it together. The team really needs to get it together. And I don't think it's the defensive side, it's the offensive side because your guys, if you look at the last game, Hunter Henry, when he had a wide open pass, he didn't even reach for the ball because he doesn't want to play with Mac Jones. I really don't think that he does. And I wouldn't doubt it because Mac Jones is also a dirty player, which we have seen in the last year and a half. I mean, I really don't like the guy. He really is showing me why the New England Patriots are the most hated team in the NFL because of his dirty play and because of his bad decision making. I mean, here's the thing with Mac Jones. Mac Jones does not go through his progressions. When you're a quarterback, you look at every progression in order the way that the coach tells you. But he's not doing that. He's looking at option 4 before he looks at option 1 because he always wants to throw the deep ball. That's a problem, okay? Number 1. Number 2, when he makes his decision to throw it to the guy that he should have been throwing to begin with, it's already too late, which means that our wide receivers are going to end up getting hurt or our running backs are going to end up getting hurt because they get blindsided because Mac Jones is throwing it to him with some guy coming 50 miles an hour towards him. That's a problem. Mac Jones is not the answer. Like I said last week, he's a high school quarterback that was in the right place at the right time for the right college and got to the NFL where everybody thought he was going to be a big thing for the next New England Patriots dynasty and ended up being a 1-year show. That's it.
Did you see his face on the sideline in the game? He just looks confused. He looks like he doesn't know what's going on. And it's
No,
just it's outrageous to see. And I can't believe this man is making more money than me.
no control of the offensive unit. And that needs to happen when you're at the quarterback position. Like I said last week, no control, no clock management, bad decision making, doesn't go through progressions right. Why the hell is he a quarterback to begin with, right? So, like, that's the thing that the New England Patriots have to look at.
Well, that has been the Live 5 list. Mozzie here, Live Zone with me. Keep it with us because we got the crazy one coming up.
Stay tuned. Everybody, welcome back to another Live Zone Sports segment. We are back with the crazy one. We've had a crazy episode so far, but we're going to make it a little bit crazier here for you. Mozzie, take it away. What we got?
All right, today's crazy one, we got the Florida Gators. Just an amazing catch. Let's play it here from the top. Let's see what we got. So we got Graham Mertz stepping back as the quarterback, firing it downfield to Ricky Purcell, and oh my gosh, what a one-handed catch. It's ridiculous and gets hit at the same time. We got a couple slow-mo videos here. Break it down for me.
Oh, man, that is a dirty man right there. I mean, come on. We're making Odell Beckham Jr. catches in the middle of the game like this, getting hit by two players like that. I mean, come on. That is,
Look at
I mean,
this.
it's kind of a bad throw to begin with, but he makes something
Ooh,
out of right there with that one hand snag, gets hit by two players, the flag comes
how
through.
did he hold on? How did he hold on? That's what I
Nobody
want to know.
he got glue on them hands. That's how Florida is just
That
like
was
that.
ridiculous, man.
I mean, you got the Tyreek Hill in Florida, and then after that, on the college side, you got Ricky Purcell. Make sure you're staying tuned for this guy because he is going to be different. Already on the year, 34 receptions, 453 yards, 2 touchdowns on the year. That is ridiculous.
And that's the crazy one for this segment. Live Zone, you want to take it away from here?
You have been listening to and watching, I should say, a great episode here on Live Zone Sports. We got a lot coming to you in the future, but before we leave, I just want to say subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social medias because a lot of things are coming up on the socials as well, and make sure you stay tuned for next week's Live Zone Sports here with you. See you then.